Hey there guys, how's it going? So I've gone ahead and downloaded Pokemon Quest onto my mobile device. So it released today, outside of the Switch for the first time onto mobile devices today. So I've gone ahead and downloaded it and given it sort of a first try. And I think it's kind of cute. I think it's a little bit of fun. It's not super in-depth in terms of the combat that I've seen so far, but I mean, I've only really been playing for an hour. It seems kind of cute. Very, very different to any other Pokemon game that I've played. I've played a lot of like the Shuffle, well, I've played some of the Shuffle games before, a lot of Mystery Dungeon, some of the Rumble games as well, and of course the main series of Pokemon games, where essentially to recruit new Pokemon, you need to either do battle with them. In like the Rumble games and the Mystery Dungeon games, you have a tiny chance of, upon defeating wild Pokemon, they decide to join your team. In the main Pokemon series, of course, you just chuck the ball at it when you see a wild one and you can potentially catch it. In this, the only way to recruit wild Pokemon is to cook. So you set up a little cooking pot in your base camp, which it does automatically, and there are apparently 3 more you can unlock by playing the game further. And as you do that, Pokemon will just sort of come to you depending on the ingredients you use to cook your little stew with. So like, for example, no, I'm not going to spend any money, thank you, no. As you know, depending on the ingredients that you put into your stew, whatever, will depend on the Pokemon that come out. So at the very start, you get to pick from either Charmander, Squirtle, or Bulbasaur, which is pretty standard, as well as Eevee or Pikachu. You get a Rattata and a Pidgey pretty soon after that, and from that point onwards, you're more or less on your own. So as you've been going through, you've been collecting ingredients, and it says to you, hey, chuck some random ingredients in, and a Pokemon will spawn. So essentially that's what's happened. I've got a Vulpix and a Shelder so far, and it's been kind of cute. Again, the combat's nothing too crazy, but it's been a little bit of fun. It really has reminiscent features of a lot of gacha games, where essentially these Pokemon are like random drops, and you can get multiple copies of each species, which will have slight variances in them. And if you don't like a particular species, you can use that one to smush into one that you do like, and that will increase the level of the one that you do like. It definitely has a lot of reminiscent features of a lot of gacha games that I've seen before. It seems kind of brutal, to be honest. Like in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, you fuse metals into other metals, and it seems like, okay, that's okay. I mean, they're only, you know, it's a piece of metal, but and this is like, it's an actual Pokemon you're basically smushing into another one. I mean, I know you're not really, but still, it seems kind of harsh. But anyway, I typically look at a lot of games from a free-to-play point of view, so I thought, well, let's take a look at what's offered in the shop here, because of course, being a free game, they're free to start, free to play, whatever you want to call it. There is of course a paid aspect to it. And it differs a lot from Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, which, if you've never seen my channel before, I make a lot of videos for that game, where in that game, you basically pay a weekly, if you choose to, you can pay a weekly amount and receive bonuses that only last for, effectively, Monday to Sunday of the following week, and that's it. You pay for 7 days with the VIP content, and then you reset back to a normal player. In this, you purchase bonuses which will last the entirety of your account. So the bonuses you can purchase here, there are 3 big packs you can purchase, each which have a long time benefit, and there's one little mini pack here. This mini pack here is interesting. Like, as soon as you launch your account, it seems to like start a counter, and you can see it's a 72-hour counter, so 3 days, in which you have to purchase this account, and you get a little Pikachu friend, 200 of these tickets, which are the premium currency in this game, as well as this Pikachu surfboard, which has an additional effect as well. The Pikachu surfboard, if you don't buy it within the first 3 days, it will become available to purchase with those ticket things that we'll talk about in a second. So I'm going to have to add this to the list I'm going to show you guys in a sec. So essentially what you're doing here is, the way you would collect your daily tickets in a game like this is you would literally press this button right here, which again I've already pressed, so now it's gone ahead and reset. So I press this button, and in again 19.5 hours it's going to reset again, and that will give me the option to get 50 more tickets when I press that. For a player that decides to purchase these packs right here, they're essentially going to get these items which will increase the amount of tickets they're going to get through pressing that button. So what you're effectively doing is increasing your daily amount of tickets by making these purchases. So it in effect makes sense to purchase this as early as possible if you do want to purchase it. If you decide you're going to purchase them at some point, you may as well purchase them early, I suppose, because the benefit only starts from when you purchase them. That makes sense, of course. So there are 3 packs here: Expedition, Great Expedition, and Ultra Expedition, essentially increasing the amount of tickets you get each day. If you decide to buy all 3 of them, the amount goes up from 50 to 190. So what do you spend those tickets on? What's the point? What is the point of these tickets? Well, there are little decorations you can get to decorate your home base. As you might have seen before, I got the little 3-tiered Rattata one, which you get from just playing the game for free. You get it very, very early. The rest of them cost a fair bit of tickets. So I've gone ahead and added up the numbers of all of these right here, and I may have gotten a little bit wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. I haven't taken into account the Pikachu surfboard, which I assume will, in 71 hours from my time, go from that shop into this shop right here, so I'll have to add that on at some point. But point is, added up all these, as well as the box expansions as well. It's a bit cheeky because it's a Pokemon game, and Pokemon games are always about collecting the species of Pokemon, and you can only have 20 to start with, which I think is pretty low. So anyway, there are 280 additional slots you can open up here, as well as 280 slots to have these Power Stones, which we'll talk about later. So you can purchase that 14 times for each of these, which are worth 50 bucks a piece, so 700 a piece. Add to this amount right here, so if you add that all together, it comes to 5,150. So add the 5,150 to the 700 to the 700, gives you a grand total of 6,550. So what does that actually mean? Well, if you get 50 tickets a day divided by 6,550, it's going to take you 131 days worth of daily logins. So that's only daily logins to earn everything. Of course, you'll gain additional tickets just by playing the game. Like again, I've only been playing for one day and I've already got a fair few just been handed to you through random rewards and whatever. But at some point, I assume those are going to run out, and you're going to have to rely on daily logins only to accumulate those tickets. So what happens if you buy the member service? What does that actually get you? Well, that means that, again, let's assume you buy the maximum amount of 190, so we can have a range of minimum to maximum. If you buy 190 and divide that by 6,550 divided by 190, you'll reach the maximum amount that you need in roughly 34 days. I don't know if they're going to add additional stuff into the game. Like I just said, I've only seen these decorations in there so far. Who knows if they're going to add more in at some point, or if you earn more just simply by playing the game and unlocking more. I'm not too sure. But just based on the initial stuff that you've earned, and like, this is what it's going to cost. So you'll still have to log in for about 34 days before you can earn everything. Of course, if you do buy those, you gain some additional tickets as well, so you gain about 300 tickets for that. But assuming the Pikachu surfboard is roughly 300 tickets, it sort of works itself out. So roughly 34 days. So you're going to save yourself roughly 100 days worth of daily login if your goal is to complete absolutely everything in the game. Again, not a huge deal, but I just thought I'd throw it out there nonetheless. In terms of the actual gameplay, what it's like, because I guess we should probably be talking about that, let's go through and do a mission. So it's one of the AP system. You essentially have a battery, which is this game's excuse for why you need to be held up every 5 minutes. Instead of just playing the game, you have to wait half an hour if you want to recharge. So we'll go ahead and take on the boss of this second level. I don't know what you want to call it right here. If you complete the third level, you get another cooking pot, and you can start earning more than one Pokemon every so often. But let's go ahead and do this one right here. So I've gone ahead and brought two Pokemon that'll sort of hang back, and the Charmander, which will just, like an absolute commando, sprint ahead and try and take everything on himself. So you can choose to either do a single target attack, like with Scratch here it seems to be, or Fire Spin, which will get everything that's surrounded by a bloody hell. So Shelter's more or less useless, I guess. It's my first time using Shelter, and it just sort of casts a defensive buff on itself. So that's really not too helpful. Oh, bugger, I used Charmander way too late there. And I used Vulpix in a terrible position as well. I should really be paying attention to what I'm doing. Poor Charmander's getting an absolute walloping. Alrighty, so these guys are going to take on the first wave right here. So yeah, nothing too... Alright, so we pick up a little red mushroom there. That's the ingredients that you use. You get a whole bunch of those ingredients and then you make a stew out of them, essentially. Kind of interesting concept, I guess. Yeah, Shelter was not a good choice. I didn't realize it only had barrier, but that's my fault for not looking, I suppose. Oh well, we'll get through this. Okay, let's finish it off. Alright, fantastic. So, got a little golden berry there. We'll kind of keep going on. Stack of Weedles. So again, I'm not controlling any of this. It's sort of just walking around itself. All I'm really doing is hitting what attack I want it to do. So nothing super strenuous here or anything like that. Wish that Vulpix would turn around and actually attack the opponents. That'd be nice. So you power up your Pokemon by getting these little stones that you sort of put onto a 3x3 board that doesn't actually have its spots unlocked until you level the Pokemon up some more. So once you do get 3 in a row, you get what's called like a little bingo bonus, and that will unlock additional stat bonuses on your Pokemon. It's kind of deep once you fully get into it, but it's going to take a little while for me to get there, I think. Again, I definitely not going to be paying for any more calls. I'm not going to be wasting my tickets on recharges or anything like that. So okay, Charmander's going to die pretty soon. Vulpix to get a little bit closer, I could use Flamethrower on this bloody Butterfree. explosive Vulpix, please. Whatever, so again, you can't really control your Pokemon, which kind of sucks. Like if I use Flamethrower right now, it'll just whiff. It only goes a tiny little distance in front of you, so I don't know, it doesn't really make sense to me to do that at all, but... Hey, Charmander's back, nice. Like I said, he's an absolute unit, he's just gonna run in there. What? Oh god. That's absolutely disappointing. Alright, nice. Okay, Butterfree's down, so... That's sort of the gameplay of Quest. It's a little bit interesting, but there we go, we got one of those stones I was mentioning. Again, so you can only hold 20 of those at a time, and I seem to be picking one of these up. Okay, there's a little stat board there as well. So you can see the Vulpix nearly gained a spot towards opening up another one of its 9 spots, which I think if I get that one right there, it'll do like a bingo bonus and unlock one of its 3 additional properties that it can have. Anyway, we've defeated the boss, so I guess we're going to get some additional rewards for that. So obviously the daily logins aren't the only way you can get those tickets. You can get some from doing little quests as well. These are like, I think, limited in number though, so obviously they'll run out eventually. But I've completed some. So for example, I can pick up, like I equipped a particular stone onto my Charmander, so I can receive some tickets for doing that. So the number I gave you is not like exactly precise in terms of the only way to get these tickets is by waiting this many days. You can see that sort of you're essentially paying to wait less time and therefore sort of play less, which doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know why you want to pay to play less in the game, apart from just the less in the grind, which I do get. I mean, they want to basically bore you into paying money for it, so that's totally fine. I mean, of course, I never have a problem with anyone paying money in a game. If that's what they want to do, that's completely fine. To consider where it's worth it for you. If you're the sort of person that wants to have absolutely everything in a game, just be aware that if you don't want to pay money, again, it's going to take you roughly 130-ish days to do that, and paying the full amount is going to take you roughly 30-ish. After that, though, I don't know what the point of having tickets would be. I don't know if they're going to release new items that you can purchase or what, because after you've made that purchase, then once you spend all the tickets, I guess you can just keep playing infinitely that way, like, because of course you can recharge the battery with tickets, of course you can, because it's a gacha game, well, it's a mobile game basically, and they have to have some sort of forced wait timer to make you stop playing the game at some point, but yeah, I mean, I guess at that point you can basically just play as often as you like. You don't have to worry about that timer if you're a paying player. Anyway, that's all I've got to say for now. I hope you enjoyed this little quick look at Pokemon Quest and the sort of free-to-play, pay-to-play aspect of it. I am a sucker for collecting all Pokemon in a Pokemon game. I've just cannot help myself, I have to get them all. So if people are interested in this, I might do guides on how to get all the Pokemon in the game, if that eventually is something people want to see, and if I figure it out myself. Got 5 down, 146 I guess to go if Mew's in the game. Anyway guys, I'll catch you later. All the best. Take care.